Hello everyone! Today we're going to discuss how to write an essay for your B2 FCE English exam. I know that writing essays is something that can make us feel really stressed and overwhelmed. There's pressure of a time limit, there's pressure of making sure all of our spelling and grammar is correct, and it can feel a little bit overwhelming. But today I'm going to tell you the magic formula that will help you to overcome your writing fears. Now, this is not a magic formula that's going to transform you into the next Tolkien or C.S. Lewis or J.K. Rowling, but this is a strategy that many teachers in the US use to help their middle school and high school students set up the basic structure of an essay. This is also a very good structure for writing an essay for your FCE exam. And once you know this kind of formula, you can relax and write your essay with ease. Before we begin writing, we need to discuss what is an essay. An essay is a piece of writing on a particular subject. In the FCE exam, essays are written to show our understanding and analysis of a subject. This allows the writer to express their ideas and opinions in English. We have to use complete sentences and complete thoughts. We also have to be able to back up our opinion with different evidence and ideas to be able to support our opinions. So these essays should develop an argument in response to a set question. Let's have a look at our example question. Here we have the statement, some young people find it hard to buy their first house or flat. Do you agree? We need to include in our essay savings, property prices, and also our own idea. So we're going to use those three things, this savings, property prices, and our own idea to be able to support our opinion on this statement. So if we go back and look at the statement, it says, some young people find it hard to buy their first house or flat. Maybe where you live, you will agree with this statement, but maybe where you live, you don't agree with this statement. For this example, we're going to be agreeing with this statement and then using those three items below to support our position on this statement. So after we've taken a minute to kind of brainstorm some of our ideas for each of those categories and then come up with one of our own, we can start to use the magic formula to write an essay. So for writing an essay, you're going to need 5 paragraphs. The introduction, the 3 main paragraphs, and a conclusion. Each of these paragraphs should have at least 2 sentences and probably no more than 5. By following this guideline, you will be very easily within the 140 to 190 words that are required for the B2 exam essay. Let's start with the introduction. In our introduction, we need to say what is the topic about. We have to state our opinion and then briefly mention our main points. We don't need to expand on the main points here because we will do that in the next part of the essay. So let's look at this example. Many young people today find it difficult to buy their first home. I completely agree with this because saving enough money is very hard, property prices are too high, and salaries are often too low for young workers. So here you can see we have 2 sentences to set up our introduction. In the first sentence, they are very clearly stating what the topic is about, that many people today find it too difficult to buy their first home. And then we move on to whether we agree or disagree. Here the writer states, I completely agree. So 100% fully on board. Then they move on to giving some examples, because saving money is hard, because property prices are too high, and salaries are often too low for young workers. As you can see here, these sentences are rather simple, not very elaborative, but they give enough information that the reader will be able to know what is going to be discussed in the essay. It also gives the reader information about the author's opinion. Next, we'll move on to our body paragraphs. In these paragraphs, we will discuss our 3 key points: savings, property prices, and salaries. Each of these paragraphs, again, should contain about 2 to 4 sentences and also use different linking verbs or linking words like however, because, also, in addition to, and many other of these kind of expressions that we should be familiar with at the B2 level of English. When we're preparing for this type of exam, there are also certain expressions, as I mentioned, that we should be familiar with at a B2 level of English. There are different expressions that we can use to add ideas or promote emphasis, to indicate a sequence, maybe to compare and contrast, or to give more examples. On the next few slides, I will just put them up here. You can take a screenshot of them. There are different types of words and expressions such as first, second, third, next to indicate a sequence. Maybe adding ideas, we can use very simply and, also, as well as. If we move on to comparing and contrasting, we can say things as in the same way, on the other hand, similarly. Maybe we want to contrast and we'll use things like but, conversely, even so, instead of. Okay, there are many different types of expressions that we can use. It's not required of you to use all of them. Choose a couple of them, get really familiar with them and really comfortable using them in your essay. So here we have our 3 sample paragraphs. Number 1, saving money is not easy for most young people. Many people have to pay for rent, transport, and food every month. So there is not much money left to save. Even if they try to save a little each month, it can take years to collect enough for a deposit. So there we very clearly explain the problem with savings, that it's difficult because of these different things, and even if we were able to save, it would still take a long time. So within that particular paragraph, we not only state that saving is a problem, but we give examples of why it is a problem. In the second paragraph, where we discuss property prices, they state, property prices have increased a lot in many cities. Houses and flats are much more expensive than they were in the past. This means young people need bigger loans, which can be difficult to get from banks. So again, we're stating what is the problem? That prices are too high. What is the problem? That prices have increased in the past. And a consequence of that problem is we need to have bigger loans, and that can also be difficult. So again, not just stating the problem, but giving examples of why this problem matters in this situation. And finally, our third paragraph states that many young workers earn low salaries. With high living costs and student loans, it becomes almost impossible to buy a home. So, here again, we have 2 simple sentences that very clearly state this is a problem, this is why it's a problem, and this is how it's relevant to this current situation. So again, in these little paragraphs, you kind of see that maybe 3 sentences seems to be kind of the sweet spot, but anywhere from 2 to 4 is probably going to be okay. You can feel free to pause the video to examine some of the vocabulary that they use, some of the sentence structures. We're not going to go through those things in this particular video. This is just the formula for how to set up the essay. So feel free to examine the different language structures in your free time. Finally, we will move on to our conclusion. In the conclusion, it's important to restate your opinion, to summarize your points, but also keep it short and clear. Right, so we've already discussed everything. This is just going to kind of tie it all together and put a little cherry on top of your final essay. So our example here is, I believe young people really struggle to buy their first house because of low savings, high property prices, and small incomes. In fact, this happens to be just a 1-sentence final thought that closes the whole essay out, right? Again, they restate their opinion, I believe, okay? Re-summarizing our points so that there are low savings, high property prices, and small incomes. If this writer wanted to include one more sentence, I think it would be possible. Okay, everyone, so that's really all you need to know when it comes to writing an essay. To follow this very simple 5-step, 5-paragraph formula is going to give you a very clear, beautifully structured essay for your FCE exam. You will have the introduction, your 3 main body paragraphs, and a conclusion. Remember that the word length for the FCE exam is about 140 to 190 words. I believe that if you put all the parts given in this example together, it is about 170 words. So yes, I could have used a few other sentences, or maybe I could have rephrased some things, but it fits all of the requirements that are needed for that particular essay. Again, writing essays for our English exam is just something that should be done in a very simple and straightforward way. I know that there are many English professors and writing professors, especially those at the Hillsdale College, who would probably just cringe that I'm giving you this 5-paragraph, 5-step system. But again, we just need to be able to show that we can express our ideas clearly in English. We can give reasons for why we think what we think, and we also can give some examples to support those beliefs. So, good luck on writing your English exam. Good luck on writing your essay, and I will see you again soon. Bye.